state of Kansas is set to prosecute and imprison a woman who was using medicinal marijuana to treat her very severe version of Crohn's disease. Now, Crohn's disease is no joke. In fact, it could completely debilitate someone, and that's exactly what happened to Shona Banda, which is why she ditched conventional medicine altogether because it wasn't working, and she went to THC. She started using cannabis oil, and it was actually effective in treating her, and her Crohn's disease went into remission. Now, what exactly is Crohn's disease? Well, according to the Huffington Post, Crohn's is a chronic bowel disease that causes inflammation of the intestinal tract and produces an intestine that can no longer adequately absorb food and water. This can result in mild to severe diarrhea, abdominal cramping, blood loss, and anemia, as well as joint pain and swelling. So her joint pain was so bad that she couldn't raise her kid. She was having a really difficult time. She has two sons, one's 11, the other's 18. And so she said, look, I was basically on a couch raising my kids from that couch. But apparently she realized there's another option. And even though it's illegal in the state of Kansas, I'm going to do it. And she documented it, and she was pretty open about it, and that kind of led to some trouble. Now, after watching a documentary about the benefits of cannabis oil, Banda said she started to make her own oil in her kitchen and would consume it around meals. She says the following of it: I'm not in my deathbed. I'm working for the first time in 4 years. I'm hiking, I'm swimming, I'm able to play with my kids. I'm able to do things. I love it. Now, things took a turn for the worst when her son actually challenged some so-called drug educators at his school. So he's 11 years old. These people come to the school, and of course, they just regurgitate the reefer madness propaganda. And this 11-year-old experienced his own mother go into remission because of marijuana. So he challenged what they were telling his peers. That led to administrators calling him into the office. Then they started asking, well, how often does your mom use marijuana? At that point, Child Protective Services was notified. They took custody of the 11-year-old son. And at the same time, authorities were called to search her home. They obtained a warrant, and they found the marijuana. And now she is dealing with this ridiculous court case where she could serve 30 years in prison because they found a little over a pound of marijuana in her house. And they said, well, it was easy for the kids to access it, so she needs to be prosecuted for this. This is crazy. This is crazy. We have 4 states right now where you can smoke marijuana recreationally, but then you have states like Kansas that put sick mothers away in prison for 30 years because they're smoking medicinal marijuana. She's not even smoking medicinal marijuana. She's using cannabis oil.
So if you are debilitated from your disease and can't take care of your kid, that's okay. And I agree. I mean, I certainly don't want them taking her kids away under any circumstance. And she's going to find a way, right? But it's harder. It's harder for her to take care of her kids. But if you're perfectly fine and healthy and taking care of your kids, then they do take your kids away because you use cannabis oil to make yourself healthy. Now, and it's not like she's making it up. What's the point of making it up? She has Crohn's disease. It's medically documented. She did have those effects, and she is fine now. That's why I mean, if she just wanted to light up, she'd just light up. She wouldn't go through the whole cannabis oil and all that stuff, right?
She wrote a memoir about what she went through with her illness. And let me be absolutely clear. Let's say that she's doing it purely for recreational purposes. And? So you're telling me that it's okay for parents to come home after a long day of work and get as drunk as they want, and they're not endangering children in that case, but it's not okay to smoke a little weed? It's okay for you to smoke tobacco or cigarettes in your house, and that obviously harms children through secondhand smoke, but that's okay because it's a legal substance in the US. This is crazy. We're ruining people's lives, and the war on drugs is so disingenuous when they say that they're trying to keep people safe. They're not trying to keep people safe. You think putting an 11-year-old boy in foster care is keeping him safe because his mom is using cannabis oil for her condition? You think that you're keeping society safe by putting this woman behind bars for 30 years?
They said that the problem was the kid had easy access to the cannabis. I'm pretty sure almost every kid in America has pretty easy access to alcohol by opening the refrigerator or the liquor cabinet, right? Even if your liquor cabinet is locked up, which almost no one does, let's keep it real, there's beer in the fridge. You just take it and you open it if you wanted to. We're going to arrest every parent who's got beer in the fridge? And are you telling me you getting drunk at home is somehow much better than smoking weed? It's just, you know it's not, even if you're an advocate for keeping it illegal.
The federal government should take this up and they should legalize it federally, okay? Leaving it up to the states is ridiculous because you can't have that kind of disparity. You can't have states that say, no, it's totally fine, smoke it for recreational reasons, we don't care, we want to stay out of your life. This is liberty, right? This is the land of the free. And then you can't have states like Kansas putting people away for decades because of possession. That's crazy. Prison is supposed to be reserved for violent criminals, okay? Yes, it's there for punitive reasons as well, but we should be locking up people who are violent and who are a threat to society. This woman is not a threat to society, and also people living in Kansas, your taxpayer money is gonna go toward imprisoning her. What a waste of resources, what a waste of time, and you're destroying people's lives all in the name of protecting people from weed. It's crazy.
I will disagree slightly, Anna, and I'll tell you why. I think that if we left it up to the federal government, we would have waited longer. I'm glad the states were allowed to experiment with it, so that allowed people to legalize medical marijuana like California did, and it allowed people to eventually legalize recreational marijuana like Colorado, Washington, et cetera. And I think that as you saw that people's heads did not explode in those states, other states go, hey, wait, why are we doing this to this mom?
I agree with you on that, but we've already gotten past that point, okay? We already have the case studies to prove that this isn't going to make people's heads explode, okay? So at this point, Obama needs to stop being a pussy and he needs to do something about it. I don't know, maybe those are strong words. I don't really think they are, especially when he concedes to smoking marijuana when he was younger. And at the same time, he's just kind of standing by and playing patty cakes while people are having their lives ruined over these ridiculous laws. Be a fucking leader. Do something.
Well, I think that you have a valid point, regardless of the language. So, which I think I might have engaged in before as well. Hear me out on this, and hear us out on this. President Obama does have the ability to take executive action here. He chooses not to because he thinks it's a bridge too far. And so think that through. What does that mean, a bridge too far?
He thinks everything's a bridge too far.
That's
That's
right.
why he doesn't do anything.
That's because he thinks it might do him some political damage, and people might say that that was a radical step and view him in a negative light. It's not like he has a big agenda left going forward. I literally don't know what his agenda is anymore for the next couple of years.
You're at the end of your second term. Okay?
There's no big, like, okay, now healthcare, or now we're going to get rid of money in politics. There's nothing. There's no agenda left. So why not do something with the next 2 years of the most important office in the land, the most powerful person on earth? He keeps claiming he's powerless when he's literally the most powerful person on the planet. So can he do something about this? It's not to say that he can strike it down and say, okay, marijuana is now legal in all the states. No, he can't do that. But can he take it down from a Schedule I drug?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Can he start to take executive action on who should be in prison and how they should be imprisoned? Yes. Instead, what he does is the typical Obama move, which is a 5% change. Hey, perhaps we should open up the federal government to do a little bit more research on marijuana. Ooh, very, very bold.
So proud of you, Obama.
So now, as he does this, as he continues to have inaction in this case, remember that there are millions of people in prison for not just selling marijuana, but for smoking marijuana across the country. Obama didn't go to, he smoked marijuana just like they did. He didn't go to prison. He wound up becoming president. George Bush smoked, didn't go to prison. Bill Clinton smoked, didn't go to prison. They all became president. They were, they were privileged in all their different ways. That's, and they got away with it. Now they all turn around and go, I'm going to imprison millions of people across the country for something I know I did, I admit I did, but I don't care. I'm going to ruin their lives anyway, because it would be a bridge too far for me politically. It might hurt my legacy a little bit, which it wouldn't, by the way. It would greatly help your legacy, but you're too blinded by Washington to see that.